Okay, a very good morning to all of you. Myself, Dr. Varun Narayan Misra. Today I am going to discuss about the digitalization of land records, which is an important part of land information system. When we talk about land information system, means we discuss about the digitalizing the all available land parcels, how the space, how open spaces are there, how much space is available, and how we can go for the digitalization of the land records. So today's topic is about the digitalization of land records. What is the importance of GIS and remote sensing in land record digitalization, how it will started and how it will done. Okay, so first I will going to start with this program, NLRMP program. Okay, so this program was launched by Government of India. The full form of this program is National Land Records Modernization Program in 2008. So entire land parcels in India, or each and every land parcel in India, will be digitalized, will be converted into digital form under this program. This program was started with main focus on the digitalization of all the available land records. So it is very important, and this program is now running. Still, it is running, and still the work is going on under this program, which is known as NLRMP, National Land Record Modernization Program, and it was started in 2008. Okay, so this program was first started by centrally sponsored scheme of computerization of land records. Okay, there was a scheme of Government of India known as computerization of land records, or in short we call it as CLR. Okay, it was started for strengthening the revenue administration and updating the land records, and it was proposed by the Department of Land Resources, Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India. Okay, so basic motto of this kind of program is to strengthening the revenue administration or updating the available land records. As we know that most of the land records are in the hard copy, most of the land records are not updated over last few years. Okay, so there is a need of the updation of land records, and also the government is planning to digitalize all the available land records, all the available spaces or land parcel into the digital format. So this program was started under the Ministry of Rural Development, Department of Land Resources. So there are major components of NLRMP. Are the first component is the computerization of the land records. Then we will integrate GIS, remote sensing, and other methods, other techniques, that is known as, you can say, the geoinformatics. The geoinformatics is integrated in this program, and the geoinformatics helps us to do the cadastral mapping, or we can use the high resolution satellite images, or we can use different survey of India maps for integrating all the information into the single platform. Then survey and settlement record is also required there. We need to conduct regular surveys to get the updated information. Then computerization of all the registration means what are the previous record of the sale deed or sale purchase, and what is the current record of sale deed and sale purchase. All this information will be considered under the computerization of registration. Then land record management centers, there are several land record management centers. They continuously work on the managing all the land records, and in the final stage, capacity building and training. Okay, also this program is also having a motto to promote the capacity building and train the individual, or training is also there in this program. Okay, so it's a kind of modern, comprehensive, and transparent land record management system, in which, with the aim to implement the conclusive land titling system with the title guarantee. So this is a part of land information system, and we call it as a land record management system. So when we moving to next slide, there are different phases when we talk about land record management. So it can be done into different phases. The first phase is computerization of land records. Under this phase, we will do for the customized application for the digitization. We will do the georeferencing of the village maps, then digitization of the maps. Topology creation can also be done under this stage. And the benefit of this computerization program is that it saves the time by minimizing the manual digitization. And we know that we are having automatic digitization facilities, so it will be useful to save the time by manual digitization time, and it also minimizes the manual interpretation errors. Okay, so in the first phase or in the first stage, we generally focus on the customized application of GIS. We can use GIS for digitalization or digitizing entire land parcel in the form of point, line, and polygon. Then in the second phase, we will do survey and settlement records. Survey is very important for getting the updated information. Okay, if you have the map of 2010, and within the 10 year, lot of construction was done, lot of construction is there in a city, in a or in a area. So we need to do the survey. Survey can be done using DGPS. Okay, and we can also use total station. So there are many instruments are available. These instruments can be used for conducting the survey. Okay, so for surveying, we need to have survey experts. We need to have a surveying team so that they can continuously conduct the survey, and they have to visit village to village and get the exact information on the ground, so that the maps will be updated after this surveying data. And in the third stage, that is land information system. Okay, so this is very important. Whatever the information we have gathered from surveying, or whatever the information we have gathered from the computerization of land records, so the entire information will be implemented as a land information system. So it's a kind of web GIS software portal with the database and map servers. Okay, whatever the survey we have conducted, whatever the maps we have created under computerization of the land record or digitalization, so the entire maps, entire information will be uploaded on the website, and this process is known as WebGIS. So it is a kind of portal, it is a kind of website that will have entire database and map servers. Under this stage, we will have authentication and authorization, document management, business process, plots, reports, map viewer, map generation and printing. We can also go for the map editing, and after that, uh, after all these activities, a final map will be visible or will be available for the user. So anyone can access that map, anyone can view the maps which is uploaded on the website using land information system on the basis of the information what we have gathered from stage 1 and stage 2. So these are the three important phases in land record management system. All we call it as a, this is the stages for the development of a useful land information system that will include the entire digital data of land parcel, also the survey information and current scenario of that land parcel. So these are the three stages. Okay, so first we need to know what is web GIS based land information system and management. Okay, so the concept of web based land information system and management is to create a single window. Okay, means whatever the information we are having, whatever the maps we are having hundreds, 200, thousands of the maps. Okay, so it's a kind of integrated approach. Web based GIS or web GIS is the kind of integrated approach or a single window platform on which we can upload the entire information for GIS based multi-purpose cadastral framework, which supports the continuous, readily available, comprehensive land related information at the land parcel level. Okay, entire information will be integrated into a single platform, into a single portal, so that anyone can access that information, and this information will be available continuously, readily, and comprehensive land related information will be available at each land parcel level. So the components of land information is the reference framework that is consisting of geodetic network, then series of current and accurate large scale maps, raster data showing the latest scenario, like we can use multispectral images, we can use digital photographs, we can use high resolution satellite images, lidar data can be used for updating our maps on the basis of the current scenario. Then cadastral overlay delineation can be done on all the cadastral parcels, and there is a unique identifying survey number that is assigned to each parcel that will be used for indexing of all land records in information system. Okay, so the geo database of all cadastre that is integrated with the cadastral maps for information retrieval and updating a mutation. Okay, so land information system, the development of land information system affects many aspects of the land tenure and land administration. Okay, so it's a long-term process. Land information system is a long-term process and requires a holistic vision, clear strategy, and systematic approach. It is also having the long-term political, administrative, and financial support. Okay, so that we can have the successful land information system. We can develop a successful land information system. So these are the components of successful land information system. We will start from the data, then information collection, then updation, then integration, and finally we will go for some real world problem or solution. So data development includes the computerization. Computerization means scanning or image rectification. Then we can also have the cadastral mapping, then creation of record of rights. Then we will have the updated cadastral map. We will create updated cadastral map by having some information, and also we can integrate the record of rights with the cadastral map so that the entire land record will be established, will be developed at a single platform. Now survey is very important. Surveying and resurveying is very important, as we know that there is a continuous development in an area. Okay, each and every day you can see a new construction is there in a city. So how a new construction is updated in your map? Okay, for getting the updated information of a area, we need to conduct surveying so that we can establish the ground control points. We can also demarcate the land parcels, and also it is important to calculate the attribute data, and also having some existing information that can be used for updating our database. Software development is a kind of process in which we can integrate the entire database. We can integrate the entire information collected from the satellite images or the surveying into a platform, web-based platform, that is known as land information system, in which we will have map viewer facilities, the title management, survey management, land record management. There is also integration with the DMS surveys, and also we will also have get payment gateway. Sometimes if you want to have, sometimes you can have the facility to charge some money for getting the map. So you can also have a payment gateway if you want to sell, or if you want that your map is not free of cost available. If it is not freely available, then you can go for some payment gateway under your land information system. Okay, so this is the present scenario of the computerization of all the land records. Okay, so you can see the status, the name of the states, and total number of states. Status means these are different steps of the land record management system. ROR data entry is completed. The 13 states have been completed this ROR data entry. 6 states of the India have completed, are about to complete this ROR. Then 10 states have not completed this stage, that is record of rights. Okay, and out of the entire states in India, 5 states are still at the preparatory stage. 8 states are stopped manual issues of ROR, and 6 states placed ROR data on the websites. Okay, so these are the total number of states and UTs, and the status of the work that can be done by different states in the India. So this is the current scenario of the progress of the scheme of computerization of land records. Okay, so what are the reforms that can be taken care to improve the system of land record? So this NLRMP program was started in 2008, and all these schemes are merged into a centrally sponsored scheme. This was now renamed as Digital India Land Record Modernization Program. The scheme of National Land Record Modernization Program, which was started in 2008, now it is changed into a new name, that is Digital India Land Record Modernization Program, DILRMP. The objective is same, the steps will be same, but now the name is changed to a new name, that is DILRMP, and is a part of Digital India initiative. You have heard the name, the term Digital India. Okay, so now this program, this NLRMP program was under the Digital India initiative by the government of India, and the scheme was changed into a central scheme in April 2016. In April 2016, the name was changed into DILRMP. The objective and steps will be same, but name is now changed. Okay. So the major components of NLRMP, or you can say DILRMP, are the following. The first component is to computerization of all existing land records, including the mutations or any kind of transaction and transfer of the land. Digitalization of all the maps, or digitization of all the maps into the point line polygon feature. Surveying, resurveying should be conducted for updating the information and settlement records, including the creation of the original cadastral records. Computerization of the registration and its integration with the land record maintenance system, and the development of core geospatial information system, which is GIS, and capacity building. So these are major steps, these are the major components of National Land Record Modernization Program or Digital India Land Record Modernization Program. Okay, both the name is now changed, but the objectives are same. Okay, so the conclusive title system is based on four basic principles. First, it is required to have a single window system for land records, which will provide for the maintenance and updation of the textural records, okay, maps, survey, and settlement operation. The cadastral record reflects all the significant and factual details of the property titles. The record of the title is a true depiction of the ownership stage. That is, a mutation can also be integrated, which is an automatic following registration, and reference to the past record is not necessary. The title insurance, which means that the government guarantees the title for its correctness, and it will compensate the title holder against loss arising due to the defects in the title. So this is the conclusive title system that is based on four basic principles. Okay, so the progress under DILRMP is that the computerization or digitalization step is now going on. As of September 2017, 6 states, union territories of India have completed this step, that is computerization of land records, 100% completed. 10 states have completed between 95 to 99%. The 5 states or UTs have not started this progress, this work computerization. Okay, and 19 states have started issuing the digitally signed RORs. Okay, and 5 states are having 95% of the villages that have been issuing the digitally signed land of records. Okay, and out of these 2 states, Odisha and Tripura, have almost completed this process. So this is the scenario, this is the progress under this scheme. You can see most of the states have not completed this program. They have not completed this scheme. So they are under progress. They are working on that continuously. Okay. So computerization, like about 46% of the cadastral maps of India and of the entire India, 46% of the cadastral maps have been digitalized or digitized. Further, only 39% of the spatial data have been verified. And this could mean that the digitalized record or digitalized land record system are still incomplete, as 61% of the records would not have updated spatial data. So out of all the available cadastral maps, out of all the available land parcel in India, only 46% of the cadastral maps have been digitalized so far. But the validation was not updated. The validation was not done, and the information is not updated till now. Okay, so this is the progress so far under this scheme. Okay, survey and resurveying. What is the progress for surveying and resurveying? So in December 2016, the certain changes were made to Digital Land Record Modernization Program. Okay, so here most of the 6.4 lakh villages in the country were surveyed, and their cadastral maps have been prepared during the late 19th and early 20th century. So in rural areas, more than 140 million landowners have more than 430 million records. 39, there are about 92 million ownership holdings, each with 4 to 6 parcels of holding. The survey resurvey has to be done for each plot of the land. So this is a tedious job in such a big country like India to conduct a surveying and cover each and every village in the India. So it's a tedious job. It's a time-taking job, but work is going on, and work is under progress under this scheme, that is DILRMP. Okay. In urban areas, what is the progress of this scheme, this program under in urban areas? Like Ministry of Rural Development clarified that under this scheme, the computerization of the record of rights and digitalization of the cadastral map will include urban areas in addition to the rural area. So presently, the Ministry of Rural Development is working on the digitalization of the urban area also, and it has been estimated that the surveys are required for approximately 55 million urban households. Further, it has been noted that urban areas require new surveys, as urban local bodies merely update data for purpose of taxation and not for the ownership. A door-to-door survey would be needed, which gets cumbersome in the multi-story building. This is the progress of this scheme. Capacity building is also an important objective of this scheme. So the entire process of the data collection, entire process of the digitalization with regard to the land record happen at the village level or city level. Okay. So the Committee on Stage Aggregation Relationship has observed that for updating the land record and strengthening the land management, there is a need to build capacity. Means there we need to develop the manpower. Okay, so it was recommended that with the introduction of new technology such as GIS, GPS, and Earth observation technology, Earth observation data sets, we need to update the land records. And then we have to train the manpower who will be responsible for the upgradation, registration, and maintenance of the land records. So this kind of training should be provided, should be conducted, including understanding of the revenue record, how we can do the surveying. We need to create some trained manpower. They can be because they can have the facilities, they can have the technical knowledge, technical required skill for creation of the records of the rights and their maintenance. So capacity building is also a part of digital land record modernization program. Okay, so several steps need to be completed before the government starts giving out the guarantee. Okay, so amending the laws across center and states, administrative changes at the state level, ensuring that all the data is regularly updated and easily accessible on digital platform. So till now, this scheme is mainly focusing on the aspect of digitizing and updating the record. Further, this program has been slow, and progress such as survey and resurvey, which would help update the spatial record, have been going on at a slow pace due to the huge volume of the records. Now, what are the steps should be taken for digital land record creation and updation of the digital land records? Now we will see how we can create and update the digital land records using GIS, remote sensing, and other geospatial techniques. Okay, so the problems with the paper map is that it was designed for some else. The scale is fixed and it cannot be updated. If you are having a paper map, if you are having a hard copy map or hard cover map, so you cannot update it regularly because you don't have facility to update in a existing map. Okay, so and the scale is fixed in the paper map or hard copy map, and it cannot be reclassified or resymbolized. Okay, so nothing can be changed on a paper map. So for that, we need to convert all these maps, we need to convert all the land records into the digital format so that it can be updated, it can be modified, it can be changed as per the requirement. So, okay, so this is the main problem of the use of paper map in land record management system. Okay, but when we go for digital maps, so digital maps is a computer based system. It's a computer based map or database that will have the geometry of the features, the geomorphological or geographical location of the features. It will also have definitions of how features should be shown, and you can have the facility to describe the new features with the new attributes. And these digital maps must be linked to any graphics, any animation, so that they can be displayed and printed, and they must be linked to the geographic information system. If you are having digital maps, you can easily link it with the geographical information system. So they are to be analyzed and queried by any user at any time. Okay, because when we are having digital record, digital data, so anyone can update, anyone can manipulate or change or display. You can take the printouts and you can use it for different purposes as per your requirements. So this is the advantages of having digital maps, or you can say the digital land records. Okay, this is the figure showing how digital map looks like and what are the attributes of that maps. So you all know that there are two kinds of spatial, and there are two kinds of geographical data, that is spatial and non-spatial data. When we represent it in the form of map, it is a spatial data. Okay, and the attributes and properties of that spatial data, that spatial information is considered as the attribute data or non-spatial data. Okay, so the database can be constantly updated and corrected. If we are having digital data, so it may be updated and corrected continuously. The data can be classified by the user according to their own need. You can change anytime, anywhere as per your requirement. You can use different graphical symbols that can be very much useful to display in a good manner. The map is dynamic and under the control of the user. You have the entire control how to use the map if it is in the digital format. Okay, spatial data is commonly stored in two formats, two ways: raster data and vector data. All we know that vector data is based on the geographic coordinates. It will be displayed in the form of point, line, and polygon. Raster data is based on the grids or pixels. Each and every satellite image is a kind of raster data, and it is composed of small elements that is known as pixels. Okay, so you can process the pixel information for different applications for retrieving the information from that satellite image. Vector structures are used where the discrete real world objects need to be mapped, and real world objects can also be identified, can also be mapped, can also be displayed by using vector data format. Whereas the raster structure are used where the continuous fuzzy data must be mapped. Okay, so both the formats, vector or raster, having their advantages and disadvantages. You need to have the vector data and raster data as per your requirement. Okay, so depending on your need, you can use vector data or raster data. Now moving to the next slide. This is the image, this is the figure showing the map. It is having the vector data, means entire, you can see these numbers are showing the land parcel, number of the land parcels. Each land parcel having specific land use or land cover feature. Okay, so the rivers can be displayed by the lines, whereas these agricultural land or maybe any closed fields can be considered, can be displayed by the polygon features, and each and every polygon features may be provided a number, and each number represents a specific land use. It may be agricultural land, it may be pasture, it may be built up land, it may be water bodies, or any kind of land use feature can be displayed by such kind of vector data format in the form of point, line, and polygon. Okay, this is another example showing how the vector map of an urban area looks like. Okay, so you can have the road layers, you can have the railway network, you can have the shape, you can have the shape and size of the buildings. You can use vector data format in the form of point, line, and polygon to display any urban area, different urban features. Okay, you can display the road layers, the rivers, flyovers. You can display the airports, railway lines, anything in the form of point, line, and polygon features. Okay, so how we can do digitalization, how we can digitize a polygon. So suppose this is agricultural land, this is the agricultural land, and if you want to digitize it into digital format, if you want to convert this polygon, this agricultural land into digital format, or you can say in the format of vector data in digitally. So in this step, first we can start digitizing from a point, that is a node. Then yeah, this, then we will have different nodes, different points along the boundary of this polygon. Along the boundary of this polygon, we can have different nodes, or you can say these are the vertices. Okay, then we can join all the vertices, we can join all the nodes to create a polygon. This is a closed boundary. because agricultural land is a having some boundary, having some area, so it may be displayed by its polygon feature. So this is the way in which we can do the polygon feature, the digitalization or digitization of the polygon feature that can represent the agricultural land, which is a kind of land parcel. Okay, and also we can enter its attribute data, that is a field name. What is the ID of that field? This is the field number 10. So you can also enter the attribute or the secondary information about that vector data. So this is the agricultural land whose field ID is 10. Okay, so storing the data means you can first have the information about the feature, what kind of feature it is having. So this is polygon feature. What is the ID? The ID is 10. How many vertices are there? There are 9 vertices. These yellow circles, these yellow circles are the vertices. So there are 9 vertices that is used to create this polygon feature, and each and every vertices have the coordinates in the form of xy, x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3, and so on. There will be x9, y9. So each and every vertices will have a coordinate in the form of latitude and longitude, or you can say xy coordinates. Okay, so this is the way we can store any land parcel in the form of polygon feature. Okay, yeah, this is the polygon feature having the field ID 10. The attributes can also be entered, like what kind of agricultural land is there. So there is a barley. What is the area of this agricultural land? 15.76 is hectare. And what kind of soil is there? This is a Moreton soil. So the entire information about that agricultural land will be represented in the form of attribute table, that is non-spatial data of that agricultural land. So digitization is a spatial feature, and entering the attribute of that spatial feature is known as attributes or non-spatial data. Okay. Suppose in this figure, each field is a separate polygon. Okay, you can see here each field is a separate polygon that is represented by different colors. Okay, so each footpath is a line, and the footpath or the road can be displayed by the line feature, and each road is a line. So you can have the information about each and every field having some unique ID, having some field ID. You can have the information about the type of crop in that agricultural land. You can also have the information about the connecting road between different agricultural land. So this is the way in which you can digitize your land record, or you can digitize land parcel into the digital format. Now moving to the next slide. Yeah, so what are the benefits and strengths of the vector based digital maps? So the basic entity which makes up the landscape are defined and held in the database. The unlimited information can be attached to each entity, and the vector format or the digital maps created by the vector data can be easily attached to the existing database. So these are the strengths of the use of vector based digital maps in case of land and property management, in case of land record management, or digitalization of the land record. Okay, now in this slide we are going to see how raster data sets can be used for digitizing the land parcel. The previous example was for vector data format. Now we are going to use a satellite image. As we know that satellite image is a raster data format which is composed of small elements, which is pixel. Okay, so here whole region is divided into equal sized cells, which is known as pixel, and each pixel have a certain digital number or certain brightness value, that is known as its attribute, or it can be, you can say, as a digital numbers, because each pixel having some reflectance value. That reflectance value will be displayed in the form of pixel value, which is considered as the attribute value of that data or that pixel. Okay, so the entire image is made of pixels, and this is known as smallest unit, or you can say the cells. Okay, now we are going to use how this can be done, like this. In this, then we are having the resolution, like if it is having 500 into 500 meter square square meter resolution images. So this is the image, and now Yeah, this is the image having different pixels. So you can provide a unique attribute, you can provide the unique name in to each and every pixel in the satellite images. So pixel number 5 is having urban feature, pixel number 4 is having forest, pixel number 5 having field, pixel number 7 having some query, some. So when we use raster images or when we use any satellite images, so each and every pixel represents a unique urban area, maybe forest area, maybe agricultural land, or any other features. So this is the way we can enter the attribute, we can enter the data for each and every pixel present in the satellite image. Okay. Yeah, this is the way you can see the numbers are showing the pixels, number of showing the digital number values. Each digital number value represent a specific uh, uh, urban feature, a specific forest feature, or a specific field, agricultural field, or any kind of real world object or real world feature. Okay, yeah. Now, after identifying the landscape feature, after identifying the real world objects, you can provide any color as per your requirement or whatever you wish to have the colors. So here urban areas are represented by the red color, forest area are represented by the green color, okay, agricultural lands are represented by the yellow color, and other feature, what is query, is a kind of feature which is represented by the gray color. So first we need to identify the type of real world object using its digital number. Each digital number will be provided a unique name, which is an attribute. It may be any real world object, real world feature. And after that, you can have the facility to provide unique color to each and every uh, real world object on that image, on that raster image. So this is the way in which we can use the raster data for updating our land record, for getting the information about the land parcels. So now here you can see that how you can store the raster data. So there are total 9 columns and 3 rows. You can see there are 9 columns. Okay, there are 9 columns and 3 rows. So the resolution is its resolution is 500 into 500. Okay, so when you start from one coordinate to another coordinate system, so the data will be 4 5 3 3, means this is the number of each individual pixel, and each individual pixel will have a certain coordinates in the form of xy or latitude longitude. So this is the way we can store the raster data using the pixel numbers, or you can say the digital numbers of an individual land surface feature or any real world object. Okay, so what are the advantages of raster based digital maps? In raster based digital maps, every bit of the land is represented in the form of pixels, which will be shown on a satellite image, and the data is continuously can be mapped easily, such as soil fertility, rainfall, and elevation. The maps of different themes can be overlapped easily to show the correlation and conflicts. You can overlay multiple raster layers. You can overlay multiple raster based maps to show the correlation between different data sets. And raster maps are not of significant use in property maps except as backdrop images. Okay, so raster maps are very much important when we talk about the data, when we want to represent the data which is continuous. The continuous data can be represented like the soil fertility, rainfall, or elevation data can be very much easily represented by the raster based digital maps. Okay, this is the representation of the vegetation cover in the raster structure. Okay, there was a satellite image, there was a raster image, and over that raster image the vegetation cover is represented in the form of pixels. Each pixel in the study area are divided into equal sized cells, and each cell is assigned to a class in the map key. So you can see here the different colors are showing the different classes. Green color is showing some other class, then light green color is showing some other class, non-forest class are there, that is represented by some different color, water bodies are represented by blue color. So you can use the raster images, you can use the satellite images to represent the landscape features or real world objects in the form of different colors. Okay, so this is a very good way to represent the land records or land related features. Okay, so this is the raster map, the images built up of this cell. Okay, you can have the map on the hard copy map. You can convert the hard copy map into soft copy map by scanning. When you perform the scanning of the hard copy map, it will be converted into the digital format, that is also having a kind of raster images. It will have some pixels, that pixel will have some specific value. So you can convert the hard copy paper map into the raster format by scanning the entire hard copy map. That will be now used by different softwares like ADAS and ArcGIS, so that you can easily convert that data into the digital format. Okay, so this is the example of vector map that is showing different features drawn as a coordinates as a point on a graph that is joined by the line. So this is the digital maps of using vector format, and previous one was the digital map shown by the raster data format. Okay, so this is the master map. This is the complete digital map of an area, and this is having different features that is digitalized as a topographic identifier, and you will have different uh, features in the urban area like buildings, the property boundaries, the roads, and any kind of urban features, any kind of land related features will be displayed in the form of digital maps by using raster and or vector data formats. This is the master map showing the entire information about the land parcel. Okay, so you can also create a map for historical data. Historical maps can be found as a paper map, as we know that the previously we use in the previous years we use the hard copy maps, hard paper maps. So the entire historical maps or historical data are in the hard copy map, but you can found as a paper map into the digital format. Country archives and surveyor office increasingly with the open source map is digitized in its historical collection, which will be allow it to be integrated with the modern map products. So when we are having the hard copy map, hard paper map, you can perform the scanning, you can perform the digitalization, so that the previous hard copy maps will be converted into the digital maps in the form of digital format. So this is the comparison between raster and vector data format. Which one is having advantages, which one is having disadvantages. So vector and raster having both advantages and disadvantages. In vector data format, the real world entities are retained in the database, whereas in raster, the word is broken into square, that doesn't exist. In vector, many themes can be shown on the one map, and in raster, only one theme can be represented on one map. In vector data, there may be the facility, there may be the gaps between two data between the entities, but in raster is a continuous data, so all the land is given in the same value as a continuous data. It is difficult to compare different maps in the vector, but it is very easy to compare different maps in the raster data formats because of the overlay analysis. Overlay analysis is very easy in raster data format, so you can compare multiple maps by overlaying process. And vector data format is very good for discrete data sets like property boundaries and roads, whereas the raster data is very good for continuous data sets like temperature, height, soil depth, elevation of a study area. Okay, and the vector data is very good for property management, and raster data is very good for environmental management. So both the data formats having advantages and disadvantages. You need to select the vector data or raster data depending on your requirement, depending on your objective. Okay, now moving to the next slide. So both is having digital model that have benefits in different situations. The modern geographical information system programs can handle both types of map, either vector or raster, and it is possible to convert between one structure and other. You can convert the raster into vector, and you can convert the vector into raster. So there is a possibility, there is a facility in the softwares to convert, to do the rasterization or vectorization by converting raster data into vector data, and you can convert the vector data format into raster data format. But information is lost with each conversion. When we go for conversion, there may be some loss in the information. Otherwise, there is a facility to convert raster to vector and vector to raster easily without any kind of uh, physical intervention, because any kind of with the use of different softwares. Okay. So these are some MCQs related to today's lecture. All of you attempt the MCQs which will be uploaded on LMS. Thank you very much for today's class.